Tonight on Gamers Play, we review the Phil Spencer interview that shook the Xbox fanbase. Then we talk about the difference between game sales versus engagement. And Starfield's ESRB rating has some intimate details. All this and more. Why? 'Cause this is where the gamers play. Game on.
Hold on to your lug nuts. It's time for an overhaul.
What's up, Gamer Nation? This is Haziro, the old school gamer, and of course the Iron Heart of Xbox, and welcome to another episode of Gamers Play. If you have just joined me, or this is the first time, please do me a favor, and why don't you go ahead and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to repeat this in a little bit, but I'm just going to let you know that you are going to be strapped in for a one hell of a ride. Let's talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is the state of Xbox. And you know, Xbox is one of my favorite consoles, and they have been kind of disappointing. Yes, that's right, I said it. Disappointing. Disappointing to the fact that they don't even know their own identity. They have no identity whatsoever. And a good friend of mine is actually going to be joining the show, and he has a lot to say about the Phil Spencer interview. And of course, let's talk about Starfield, which is actually another big topic that's coming out later this year, and actually in September. And yeah, let's just say that there's a lot of explicit things that are going to the ESRB has put into perspective. But let's worry about all of that later, but let's get into the gaming spit. Street Fighter 6 is getting a new open world beta that's going to be starting on May 19th from our good friends at Capcom. It's going to include 8 characters that you get to fool around and scrap around with. And it's also going to be a cross-generational battle. So that means you can be able to play on the PlayStation, you can be able to play on the Xbox, and of course you get to play on Steam with each other. And of course, it's going to include some other options, such as you building your own avatar. And I believe also it's going to include some of the stages that will be available, such as Metro City Downtown, Gimbu Temple, Tian Hong Huan, and many more. It's also going to include the commentary options, so you get to listen to some of the commentary as you are fighting. And yeah, it's pretty much almost a full game that's just about almost done. It is going to be available in June. So if you want to get more of these details, you can go to streetfighter.com and actually sign up. All you need to do is actually get yourself a Capcom ID, and of course you can actually link your console of choice. There's a new awesome Unreal Engine 5 MMORPG that is coming out fairly soon by I believe is a Korean developer named N-Pixel. It's actually looks like an absolute eye-popping visuals that I've never seen before in most games. The closest game that actually has come to that is Black Desert. But here's some of the details. You can explore breathtaking wilderness of Satera, where you are and go into an open world full of life, and constant changes await you. Engage in combat with challenging foes and hone your skills in attack, defense, dodging, and a range of unique abilities across 6 different classes. Utilize the incredible power to manipulate time and space to your advantage, freezing time, rewinding events, and explore further in ways you never thought possible. Now, I am all for rewinding time, and I would like to rewind to a time where Xbox seems to be doing extremely well, and that comes to the Xbox 360 time, which I'm about to show you right now on this commercial break.
Where's that tiger? Where's that tiger? There's that tiger. Where's that tiger?
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going on, but my friend, he was supposed to be showing up. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing that he's not. What? Wait, what was that? All right, dude, you're freaking me out here. What are you doing? You're not taking a break. What? No!
Yes, it is I, the Iron Heart of Xbox, and I have a few words to say to the Xbox Nation. What are you crying about? Are you crying that you're not getting those AAA titles that you're looking for? Are you upset that the games that you have been longing for has not shown up on your precious little Game Pass? That you spent very little on, that you seem to be lacking in those AAA quality games? Well, let's have a few words to say to you. Well, you can keep waiting. You can keep waiting and waiting until they finally snap. And then you will find out why they are so reluctant to build their games on quality that you've been asking for way too long. Keep waiting. Wait wait and wait some more. But I tell you, my reluctant green friends, Xbox is laying dormant for a reason. You see, all of your whining and your crying and your sobbing about why is Redfall so poorly rated? Why did the game come out in such a state? Well, I can tell you, my friends, the reason why is because not only are you just always settling for second best low quality games, and you sit back and you keep on saying Microsoft is making so much money. What of that money are you getting? Are you getting those quality games that you are asking for? Do you feel almost you've been slighted? Just a bit? Just a smidge? Well, my friends, you have to understand that Microsoft doesn't care about you. They only care about profits. But do you really think that Microsoft deserves such a brand called Xbox? A game that was beloved by all? I'm starting to think they don't. Even the head of gaming, Phil Spencer, is starting to feel the pressure in all sides, both friends and developers, and they feel kind of slighted, just a bit. But I tell you, my friends, Phil Spencer has seen the light. Phil Spencer has entered my realm. He understands very well that being nice and being so innocent is just not working anymore. It's not getting the quality games that all of the true Xbox fans have been asking for. Why do you think during the interview at Kinda Funny, when Snowbike Mike and Paris, they asked those tough questions, and Phil Spencer spoiled his pride, and he stood up and said, "We know that we have not given you everything that you have been asking for." Not verbatim, but he just says it in such a fashion, not as a sign of defeat. Don't you understand? Don't you understand that Phil Spencer, he's found the dark side of himself. He realized that the gaming atmosphere is shifting and changing in front of him. That all of those loyal fans are starting to turn their back. He's starting to feel the frustration. He's starting to understand, as a gamer himself, exactly how we feel. Oh, my friends, you haven't seen anything yet. I have a feeling that something inside of him is saying, "No more, Mr. Nice Guy." I don't think the kumbaya has been working. He feels that the other side has been doing all these devious things, but he doesn't want to play on the same ground, you see. No. He also realizes that, hey, I have a better idea. He also realizes too that creativity is very important, especially in the gaming atmosphere. Gaming in the atmosphere of creativity equals amazing product. But quality product is very important as well. Transparency may be one thing, but execution, is something I'm very, very proud of, is very, very integral to the growth of the Xbox brand. So, my friend Phil Spencer, he has tasted a little bit of the dark. He has tasted a little bit of the blood. He feels the 99 cuts. He has been whipped 1,000 times. The flesh has actually opened. The blood has actually flowed. People have been waiting too long. And now it is time for us to rise. Rise from the ashes. And understand that Xbox, once again, will rise. Just you wait. Remember, silence is the most deadliest killer, because you never know when it will strike.
Hey, am I back? Oh, hey, guys. I don't know what the heck just happened. Did he actually try to take over again? And I was trying to get into the Xbox segment. I mean, look, I mean, he was going to say something. I believe he must have been mentioning something about the Phil Spencer interview. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. He gets kind of crazy and, a little psychotic. Maybe he'll show up again. Maybe. But Phil Spencer, in his wonderful interview, I have to put in my 2 thoughts. He said what he had to say because of all the frustration he's put. He actually is frustrated. And I also feel like his hands are tied. He knows that what he wants to do. He has a vision, and I feel like even during the interview that he wants to take it all on his shoulders. And he wants to, address all these problems and actually make it up to the fans. But he also realized and everything that the higher ups, they have a different plan. And this is the reason why that I feel like Microsoft does not deserve Xbox. They don't. My personal thoughts for several reasons. Number one, look at the Xbox 360 era. They did everything practically right. I mean, they actually brought out great games. They had a fantastic launch lineup. Although the Red Ring of Death actually did do a major setback, they were one of the highest rated consoles, right next to the Dreamcast. Amazing games came out of the Xbox catalog. Going Call of Duty 2, which actually came out for the PC, and then it came out for the Xbox 360. Xbox 360 was the first console to actually have the amazing next generation Call of Duty title. Then, of course, you also have Gears of War, who actually got sprung up from the Xbox 360 ashes. And then you got great games that became third party, such as Dead Space and Lost Planet, and BioShock. Goodness gracious! Practically almost 80% of all those wonderful games that actually became multiplat came from the Xbox 360 era. Even Fight Night Round 3, that was supposed to be coming to the PlayStation 3, came to the Xbox 360 exclusive. Why? Because EA actually felt like it actually just ran much better. I'm just spitting facts. Another game that came out for the Xbox 360, Dead Rising, which is actually kind of funny because Dead Rising, I heard a rumor that Dead Rising 5 or Dead Rising Remaster might be coming out by the folks over at Capcom. You see, Xbox as a brand, they actually marched to a different drum. And Phil had the vision. When he was when he was actually the head of Xbox Game Studios, when it was at that time, it was actually Microsoft Game Studios. When they were actually a part of it, when he was, when he had the whole thing going, he was a little bit closer to the ground. He was closer to the some of the developers and stuff like that, and of course he had more reach. And he literally had to go to the higher ups and actually convince them that gaming is actually an integral part of their infrastructure, because video games are becoming bigger than anything. I mean, you talk about the mobile markets, you talk about the cloud markets, and of course Microsoft was listening, and they Satya Nadella, he said, okay, go with it. And you know what? It was going in the right direction. Here's the only problem. Microsoft is more of a software company, and they could treat the Xbox as an app. Look at what happened to the Xbox One. The Xbox One, when it got launched, you noticed that every single thing was an app. It wasn't a program, it was an app. And that's the reason why nothing was working in tandem with each other. It seemed like almost like everything was a separate entity. And the TV, sports, all that stuff. They looked like they were kind of stepping away from the gaming market and going more to the entertainment and more a module that actually fits in any home, such as the office in the living room or what have you. See, I just feel like he said it very, very well during Kind of Fun. The Xbox One was the generation that to lose, that we lost. It was the generation that actually killed the momentum they actually had coming from the 360 era. The 360 had such a high, right? And then PlayStation, the Sony and the PlayStation brand just kind of caught up. I mean, literally, because they were making great games. And because they were making great games, they actually caught up. I just feel that Phil Spencer kind of disingenuous when he actually mentioned that great games won't really bend the needle, or won't push the needle and actually do anything, make any efforts. And saying that Starfield, now even if it's rated 11 out of 10, that it won't make anybody want to trade in their PlayStation 5s. How do you have that much confidence? That doesn't really instill confidence in anybody. Why would you say something like that? I would never tell my team, oh, well, we actually, could have good product, but really we will never be able to beat our competition. So it really doesn't matter if, we actually do the best cake in the world, it doesn't really matter. It won't tell everybody that we taste better, and won't get them to come to us. It was just, it just won't do anything, But being creative is actually very important. But that should not include giving us half-made, half-baked games. I think they actually do need to actually have more people closer to the ground that actually can be, to go and contact the studios on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, whatever. Have a certain cadence or a certain regimen of some sorts, a certain quality bar that they have to set. They actually have to push the bar just a little bit higher. Quality games should be very important. It should always be important, especially when it comes to games. Why would you push yourself down? Why would you actually sit right there and want to push out poorly made product and think that people will just be satisfied just to push the Game Pass narrative? You know, oh, Game Pass and everything, because it's Game Pass. It, you know, shouldn't really matter and everything. The good game is actually AAA quality and everything, or AA or indie, whatever, an indie darling. It doesn't really matter, you know, as long as we hit the product and people actually pay for the, you know, so they can be curious about it. It doesn't really matter. But you should not make Game Pass a dumping ground. It should not be. And I've said this before in my other videos. It should not be a dumping ground. It should be a place to explore amazing experiences that are memorable and actually should be pleasing to the eye, pleasing to the ear, and something that actually would give other developers to kind of look forward to and say, wow, we could make games like that if we actually put effort. You should be having the teams go against each other creatively. There should be, I'd rather them have more in battles internally and actually show that, hey, you know what? You know, whatever you can do, I can do better. And just do comparisons. Say, look what we came up with. Oh, well, look what we came up with. Oh, you know, I mean, I think competition breeds excellence. Why not have internal competition? Why not do that? Why not actually have the teams, you know, say, hey, you know what? You guys are doing such a great job. Or better yet, why don't you guys actually be able to cooperate with each other? Give them contact. Say, hey, guess what? I like your technology. Can I use it? Oh yeah, let me bring some of my guys over. You guys have enough money, you could be able to travel back and forth. You should be able to do that. ID Software should be able to work with Tango Software, Tango GameWorks, or better yet, and I think 343. 343 should actually get help from anyone, from Coalition, from from Compulsion Games, from Ninja Theory. You know, the technology Ninja Theory actually brought out was amazing. That metahuman technology is amazing. You don't have to use that fancy, smashy equipment all over your head. All you gotta do is just get the facial features, and you could be able to put it onto anything. Technology is moving forward, and they should be using it. And being afraid to actually pushing the power of the consoles that you actually have created is sad. You made an Xbox Series X for a reason. You should not be pushing the Xbox Series S just because it's easier to manufacture. You should not just to try to push numbers. We don't care about your internal numbers. You know, if you get more people to actually jump onto the Xbox Series S, that's actually a streaming platform, we can actually see more of a push on the Game Pass, and then we'll see. And here's another thing that I just want. This is my final thought before I get going. I have to talk about, actually, there's another subject, and there's two other subjects actually I want to talk about. I'm actually going to just oppose both of these. You see, there's a difference between game sales and, of course, gaming engagement. And I have a feeling that this engagement thing has been kind of misconstrued in several ways. Now, profits do actually, I feel, can benefit when you actually have more engagement, because you actually have an opportunity to bring more games, more DLC, more content, whatever, and actually keep them engaged. But the thing is that you actually have failed. Xbox in general has failed to actually do that well. They don't execute it well because they're so worried about what they actually have done already, and they're waiting for the numbers to jump to a certain number before they decide to move on. No, you shouldn't be doing that. If you don't do well in whatever content you have brought out, you need to concentrate, fix whatever you need to do, Move on to the next thing. Content should be continuous. Fortnite's done it. Overwatch has done it. Apex Legends has done it. Minecraft has done it. Yeah, heck, even PUBG that no one really talks about, they've done it. And there's a few others. I could just go on and on. Sea of Thieves has actually done very well with that one. Maybe you should follow their model. Grounded, another game. You know, finally, there's a cadence. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's a cadence of quality that you have to go by. The flagship titles, for some odd reason, when it comes down to the lower end AA games, somehow has been getting more love than AAA high quality, high caliber games. And that is something that needs to be changed. They should be changed in tandem. And 343 as a company, I mean, I know they concentrate on Halo, but they should also be concentrating on getting more feedback from some of the other devs that actually work in your team. Xbox Game Studios, I thought, is supposed to be a studio as a whole. You know? They should be working together as one unit. Even though there's several devs and several different, devs in there, but they should be working together. And believe it or not, if you look at PlayStation, I'm not trying to do comparisons here, but for comparison's sake, they do the same thing. Guerrilla Games and everything actually worked with Naughty Dog, and they actually worked with Housemarque as well. You know, there are levels to this. All right, it makes perfect sense. And here's another thing. Now, I don't know when it comes to communication, but why should I find out about the ESRB and everything from some third person that actually comes up with it, and I finally see it on Twitter? Not by anybody official, not really, but I have to look for it. I have to dig for it. The ESRB actually finally rated Starfield. It's supposed to be rated M for mature. And there's some very interesting things that I actually have found. Open world role-playing game. This is the rating. This is the rating summary. Okay. This open world role-playing game in which players assume the role of a minor tasked with finding artifacts across the galaxy. From first to third person perspectives, players interact with various characters, complete quests, and search for supplies while battling enemies. And then he said they can actually fight humans, robots, and alien creatures. Players can use futuristic guns, lasers, axes, and explosives to kill enemies. Combat is fast-paced, with frequent gunfire, cries of pain, and explosions. Attacks on some enemies can result in blood spatter effects. That means there's going to be blood in the game. Several environments depict blood stains on the ground around corpses. The game contains some suggestive material in the dialogue, and after sharing a bed with the characters, i.e. there's actually going to be some sex inside the game. I'm sorry, I have to put it out there, sex. And then of course it's gonna be so some of the words and other things. His life is a sexually transmitted disease. There's a couple of things in there. I mean, some of them I'm actually not going to say. Then of course it's going to be, fictional drugs called Aurora. It's prominent to the game with sections involving players' characters working in drug labs and stuff like that. So, and then of course there's going to be some explosive language as well. So you see, I feel like something like this is really, it seems irrelevant in a sense. It seems really irrelevant, but I don't think that most of the people understand, that sometimes sex sells, and yes, there's a bad little thing that's caveat with when it comes down to it, but I don't find any type of feeling neither here nor there, because think about this: Mass Effect. Guess what? It had Heck, even Dragon Age Inquisition, it had it too. God of War, the original ones anyway, they had it. So what? Big freaking deal. I'm not, doesn't get, I don't care about it. A little raunchiness and everything doesn't hurt. But people are sitting right there and they're talking about, they're really going at it and everything. They're really desperate. What are you talking about? It's all part of the game. If it actually, brings the story along or whatever it is, or adds to the immersion to the game, I don't care. Think about it. Starfield is supposed to be a really massive open world type of game. And actually, you're going to be building your character. Character building is actually going to be a big integral part of Starfield. And I can't wait for it. Now, the question of whether it's going to be 30 frames, 60 frames per second, I do not know. But who knows? I feel that if you had an opportunity to ask the tough questions, especially guys that kind of funny, Phil almost spilled the beans on it and everything, but he was just kind of hinted on it that yes, you will know exactly if the game is going to be 30 frames, 60 frames. Unlike what they did with Redfall, which they tell people a week or so after people probably have got the pre-order for the game, and that's kind of disingenuous. I would never put a $70 price tag on a game like Redfall. I would never do it. I just can't see anybody doing that. And for the fact that they actually said, just because it's on Game Pass, that doesn't give it a pass. That doesn't give it a pass at all. And I've said this before. Game Pass should not be a dumping ground. It should never be. High quality games should always be at the top of the list. If you want more subscribers, you want to move the needle, if you want to see more player engagement, so to speak, you need to start bringing out high quality games, putting the bar a little bit up. I don't care if it's AAA, AA, I don't care if it's an indie darling, but if the game is not quality, if I don't see heart in the game, if I don't see effort in the game, and it's a cash grab, I will know. I mean, it's the same thing as movies. You will know that if there's poor writing or the acting if the actors don't seem to feel like the character. You'll know. And this is the sad state of Xbox today. They need to, if they wanted to learn how to stay in their own lane, if they don't want to compete directly with PlayStation or Nintendo, and you want Nintendo and PlayStation because they're in the console market and they actually had it for such a long time, right? Then I think Xbox, as long as they've been around, almost about 20 years, give or take, less than that. They need to kind of wake up a little bit, right? And if they want to actually pave this new path, they need to perfect it well and stop thinking about, let's add this, let's add this. You are thinking old world Sega. Old world Sega, they actually did too much too fast. Too many add-ons too fast. People actually didn't have time to actually engage too much. I mean, Sega, Sega Genesis actually did well because they actually had 8 years of fantastic games and what have you. And then they just started doing add-ons and stuff like that. And they didn't give time to marinate. And they didn't go out there and actually engage with the developers. They didn't get enough. And there was too much competition out there. Nintendo was starting to gobble up some developers, They were actually getting all these third-party deals. And Sony, when they started getting into they started to do the same thing. And Sega was just being outclassed in every single way. And Xbox right now is actually falling into that same camp. They're getting outclassed in every single way. Sega actually did have more, put it too lightly, balls. But they actually also have the strength to kind of say, okay, you know what? We had to go a different route. But Sega gave up. Microsoft, leave Xbox alone. And Xbox, come on, man. Dust yourself off. Get back on our horse and ride. So that's my segment today. I really wanted to appreciate all of you guys who actually spent that time with me. I'm glad for all those who actually stuck around with me for all these years. I'm actually going to go better and do better. Like I said, I always do things off the cuff because I'm actually old school. I mean, I know there's all those fancy smancy techniques and what have you, make it professional and stuff like that. But I'm not a professional studio. I don't have the funds, like everybody does. But I actually do as much as I possibly can with whatever time I actually do. And sometimes I don't let them bring things out on time, and I apologize for that. But you know what? I'm only human. But here we go. I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna give you a challenge, if you will. I want you to challenge me. I want you to go out there, and I want you to give me your thoughts. I want you to go out there and actually, go to my Twitter page and everything at HUD0. Give me your thoughts. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what I can do. Give me advice. Give me a little bit of gusto. I mean, if you want to contribute a little bit, I don't mind. I'll even shout you out on my channel. I'm actually going to see if I can try to build a Patreon because, right now, I mean, hey, times are hard, but I am actually going out there and I'm actually doing what I can, what little I can, with whatever technology I can get my hands on. I'm actually pushing myself as much as I possibly can. And besides, I actually do like doing this content, not because of the fame. I don't care about the fame. I actually just do it because it's fun. I do it because it's something I like to do. Something I like to kind of, stick my teeth into. And besides, if you actually like the segments that I actually do also, let me know. I mean, I'll love to do more. And then besides, like I said, I like to have fun with it. So, like I tell all my friends, and I'm going to tell you the same, keep on gaming. Enjoy the games that you play. Stay awesome. And game on.